Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. Hope you're doing well. Well, we got to get caught up on what's going out there, the Persian Gulf around the Strait of Hormuz. Well, earlier this morning, the U.S. Navy seized an Iranian cargo ship, and gunfire was going back and forth. And so the Straits of Hormuz, it's still closed. And of course, the Iranians are upset, because once again, this is supposed to be a ceasefire. And look at what's going on. And this is why the Iranians would not stop the war, because every time they would try to sit down with the U.S., you kept right on bombing them. Now, you're supposed to be doing a 2-week ceasefire, and you got your Navy out here seizing their cargo ship. Well, what kind of negotiating is that? And I would not blame the Iranians at this point for ignoring the U.S. and doing whatever the hell they want to do. I don't blame them. So anyway, the ceasefire is over as of this coming Wednesday. And who knows what's going to happen, because it did not go well at all. It didn't go well at all. So let's get into it, y'all. Okay. Let me share my screen. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Thank you.
As for the war itself, President Trump saying today the U.S. attacked and seized an Iranian-flagged cargo ship near the Strait of Hormuz. It's the first interception since a naval blockade by the U.S. went into place last week.
The escalating standoff now threatens to deepen the global energy crisis and is raising tensions ahead of talks between the U.S. and Iran set to happen in Pakistan this week. ABC's Selena Wang is in Washington this evening with the latest.
President Trump reacting to the war with Iran amid negotiations and mixed messages over who has control over the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. has a blockade in place, but Iran says its Navy controls the passage. On Saturday, less than 24 hours after the president said the waterway was completely open, 2 ships came under fire as they tried to pass through it, according to UK maritime monitors. Audio obtained by ABC News capturing a radio message sent by an Indian-flagged oil tanker.
Sepa Navy, Sepa Navy. This is Motoring Sanmar Heddle. You gave me clearance to go. My name second on your list. You gave me clearance to go. You are fighting now. Let me turn back.
President Trump on social media Sunday saying the U.S. forcibly seized an Iranian-flagged cargo ship near the strait that tried to pass the naval blockade. Iran has yet to respond. The president also announcing his representatives will be heading to Islamabad, Pakistan, for another round of peace talks on Monday, adding attacks on Iran may continue if an agreement is not reached by Wednesday when the ceasefire between the two countries expires.
The outcome of these talks will be incredibly consequential, and as the president has stated, he is prepared to escalate to de-escalate.
On social media, the president saying if Iran does not take the U.S. deal, quote, the United States is going to knock out every single power plant and every single bridge in Iran.
Well, they said they want to escalate to de-escalate. They've escalated to devastation.
Media outlets affiliated with Iran's Revolutionary Guard, citing unnamed sources, say Tehran is not planning to take part in a second round of talks as long as the blockade remains and if Vice President J.D. Vance is not present. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said the vice president would accompany Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law, to Islamabad, Pakistan, for the second round of Washington.
Iran say it launched drones at U.S. military vessels in the Gulf of Oman in retaliation for the seizure of its cargo ship Tauska. The situation escalated quickly after U.S. naval forces reportedly fired on the ship's engine room before boarding and seizing it, accusing the vessel of attempting to breach a controlled maritime zone. Tehran has strongly condemned the move, calling it maritime piracy and a violation of an existing ceasefire agreement, and promised a swift response. That response now appears to have come in the form of drone activity targeting American warships in the region, although details about damage or casualties remain unclear. The Gulf of Oman, located near the critical Strait of Hormuz, is one of the world's most sensitive shipping corridors, and any military confrontation there carries global consequences, especially for oil supply and regional stability, with tensions rising again between Washington and Tehran. The big question now is, does this spiral into a wider confrontation, or is there still room to de-escalate?
Motor vessel Toska, vacate your engine room.
All right, y'all heard that, right? So the Iranians are saying they're not going to show up for the end of the ceasefire talks on Wednesday. They're not showing up unless Donald Trump call off the U.S. Navy from blocking that area. So they said they're not coming. And I already heard the U.S. have flown folks over there just for the talks. And they said they're not showing up. So there you go.
Vacate your engine room. We're prepared to subject you to disabling fire. Motor vessel Toska, vacate your engine room. Vacate your engine room. We're prepared to subject you to disabling fire.
Okay, we gave the flare. Be ready.
Motor vessel Toska, vacate your engine room. Vacate your engine room. We're prepared to subject you to disabling fire.
Just to let you know, when they were firing on that cargo vessel that you see, they shot and hit the engine of that Iranian cargo vessel. So it did suffer damage from the U.S. Navy firing on it. And I don't know what you're doing. That's a cargo vessel. That's not a warship. You know, they don't have no cannon or anything to shoot back at you. Unbelievable. It's a soft target. That's why they went after it.
US Navy forces have officially seized an Iranian vessel during a high seas confrontation. According to official reports from CENTCOM, the guided missile destroyer USS Spruance intercepted the Iranian ship Tuska in the Gulf of Oman. The vessel ignored repeated warnings for 6 hours, leading US forces to fire rounds into the engine room to disable propulsion. US Marines conducted a high-stakes boarding operation, taking full custody of the sanctioned ship. President Trump confirmed the seizure on social media, stating the vessel was targeted for bypassing a naval blockade. This escalation comes as a fragile ceasefire is set to expire this week. Tehran responded by calling the move an act of piracy and has reportedly closed the vital Strait of Hormuz in retaliation. Global oil prices have already surged by over 5% following the news. Diplomats fear this incident could completely derail planned peace talks in Pakistan. Authorities are currently inspecting the cargo as regional tensions reach a dangerous breaking point. Is this a necessary enforcement of the maritime blockade? US Navy forces have officially seized an Iranian vessel during a high seas confrontation.
To inject in the middle of that uncertainty and action like this is certainly interesting timing. From a sort of naval officer's perspective, from a mariner's perspective, I'm not even seeing it as the most efficient way to stop that ship. I mean, clearly it works, but it's not required. You could have got on board with a boarding team, which they then did. So to go through warnings, then engage with a very clumsy weapon. I mean, firing at the engine room, that has had all mariners raising their eyebrows and going a few yards out and you're on the bridge or somewhere else in accommodation spaces. So it's not a precision weapon. It's the largest caliber cannon they have on board. But then to board it anyway with a team from the USS Tripoli, the sequencing of this is very odd. It makes me think that bits of it are missing as far as I can tell. But so the sequencing was odd, in micro terms and tactical terms, but then the sequencing strategically was odd.
So things are heating up in the Strait of Hormuz as the United States attacked and seized an Iranian-flagged cargo ship. Let's cover what's going on and follow along for more. And word is that this cargo ship tried to evade the U.S. blockade near the Strait of Hormuz, and now Iran's Joint Military Command is vowing to respond. And that actually marked the first interception since the United States started the blockade of Iranian ports last week. And this is what President Trump tweeted yesterday. We're not going to read the entire thing, but pretty much he said today, an Iranian-flagged cargo ship named Tuska, nearly 900 feet long and weighing almost as much as an aircraft carrier, tried to get past our naval blockade, and it did not go well for them. And this gives you guys a better visual as to where Tuska was. Again, this 900-foot cargo ship right in the Gulf of Oman. And now we're hearing Iranian state media saying that new talks won't take place. We can see Iranian state media, without citing anyone beyond unnamed sources, issued brief reports suggesting that they would not happen. And we're also hearing Iranian and Pakistani leaders saying that the U.S.'s behaviors, their actions, right, including bullying and unreasonable behavior, have led to the increased suspicion that the U.S. will repeat previous patterns and betray diplomacy. And Pakistan's also not confirming a second round of talks, but authorities have begun tightening security in Islamabad, which, I mean, look, we're probably going to get these talks. We'll see, though. And the stock market's selling off on this news. Not too bad. I mean, look, the NASDAQ's only down 0.5%, Dow's down 0.1%, S&P's down 0.3%, and the Russell's actually up about 0.4%. So it's not too bad. It's not as bad as many people thought it would be today. So I'll take it stock market wise, guys. What do you think? Follow along for more. Check out the link in my bio and in the comments here for my portfolio updates. I'll see you guys in there.
So the United States stole an Iranian cargo ship. They blew up its engine and then stole it. They're saying they violated our blockade, and it's like, that's kind of the point. Your blockade is meaningless. It doesn't mean anything. It's simply there to try and exert your own power in West Asia. Your blockade doesn't mean anything. Just like the blockade in Cuba isn't really a thing. It's just there because the United States is flexing its power, and they have, basically institutionalized, making it impossible for any company in the world or any country in the world to, trade with Cuba, because it would mean they lose all their money. It's kind of what they're going to do here. Like, there's no international recognition of these blockades. If anything, the international community wants the blockade on Cuba to end because it's, responsible for many deaths in Cuba and is responsible for any suffering the Cubans face. And despite the suffering, the Cubans have fought back valiantly for decades. And the same thing here in Iran, where the United States is just saying, yeah, we're going to blockade and stop your ships. And it's like no one said you could do that. And I get it. International law and global law and all those things mean very little in the face of the neoliberal capitalists at the moment. They don't care. All they want to do is enrich themselves, and all this is doing is helping the United States and its allies basically enrich themselves and try and put pressure on West Asia to ensure their dominance through their vassal of Israel into West Asia. And so the United States and its corporate elite, bourgeoisie, can continue to enrich themselves at the hands and at the cost of lives in West Asia and globally.
Motor vessel Toska, vacate your engine room. Vacate your engine room. We're prepared to subject you to disabling fire.
We gave the flare.
The Strait of Hormuz is blocked again after the U.S. seized an Iranian cargo ship. The U.S. military has released this footage showing Marines boarding the Iranian vessel. U.S. officials say it was trying to get through the U.S. blockade. Iran says this is an act of war and to expect retaliation. Iranian drones have attacked U.S. ships. Iran is also threatening to take, quote, necessary action against the U.S. military.
So, y'all, it looks like this whole ceasefire was a waste of time. It was a waste of time. I mean, if you're going to do stuff like this, then what was the whole purpose of it in the first place? So, it was supposed to be in Pakistan like it was the first time 2 weeks ago, and I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Iranians are that mad. They are upset from what I was reading. And what's so also funny, y'all? Now, YouTube banned Mr. Explosive's channel, the Iranian that was putting all those Lego videos out. Do you know those videos are still being uploaded every single day from different accounts on YouTube? Yeah, Loretta, I'm about to show it to you. So anyway, it's still being uploaded. I see them every single day, and there's a new one. They got one on Melania. And that woman that's threatening Melania, that Amanda Ungaro, they got one on that was just uploaded today. So, yeah, you might have taken the one account out, but you got a problem. I think they got a lot of accounts or got people that are uploading, for them. But those videos are still out there every single day on YouTube. So it is what it is. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. My last live is at 7:45. We're going to listen to these Mexican podcasters that claim we should not get reparations, and Mexicans and Native Indians should get reparations before us because they've been through it longer. I don't know what the hell y'all been through longer. What the hell have you been through longer? So anyway, we'll be talking about that at 7:45. So I hope to see you there. Everybody, please enjoy the rest of your evening. Shalom, family.